Hello, my name's Denny. This is my plant-based journey, and today we're going to make vegetable lasagna. Not a white cream-based vegetable lasagna, but one with a tomato sauce. And so what we're going to use is we're going to use some mozzarella that I made from tofu. We're going to use some cauliflower and mushroom meat, if you will, that I made just a moment ago. It's full of onions and mushrooms and garlic cloves and some seasonings and cauliflower, rice cauliflower. We're going to use some chopped broccoli, and we're going to use some thin sliced cucumber, some of it thinner than others, just like in real life. Some of us are bigger, some of us are smaller, but that's not the key thing in life. Everybody matters. Every person is important. And then the tomato sauce or tomato soup or the tomato base that you saw me make a few videos ago, I'm going to use that in this recipe. I'm going to use some pasta noodles, some lasagna noodles. Now, the one that I decided to use is from Pasta Joy. It is brown rice pasta for lasagna, and they have another one that's organic, but it was like $4,200, and I wasn't going to buy that for lasagna. This one was only like $1,300. So it was actually, it's like $7 and the other one's like $9. So probably in the future I will probably just use either regular pasta noodles, because that's like $2 a box, or I'll cut up the zucchini in long strips and just make the zucchini. But I wanted to do this today, so I decided to splurge a little bit. This is a lot healthier than trying to eat the regular wheat pasta, so I thought I'd give this a try. It's gluten-free, and it is from whole grains, no preservatives, no color added. It's just brown rice pasta. So I thought this would be a healthy alternative, and even though it is a little bit more expensive, it doesn't break the bank. And then I'm going to use nutritional yeast, which is this one here from Sorry Foods. It is 100% non-fortified, and this is a game changer. I love this. So let's get to work. Now, in the past, when I would make lasagna, the first thing I'd do is I'd spray this pan down, and the reason is because I don't want this dish to get caked up and burn on and make it hard to clean. But you know what? It's going to be just fine. I'm going to put some sauce down first, and it's going to go in there and it will be just fine. And if I have to soak it in some water and let it set, okay, it's not that big a deal. You know, sometimes we fret about, well, we need oil for this or we need oil for that, and the truth is we don't. We might need some elbow grease to clean up a little bit, but we're going to be fine. So let's make it without oil. Let's start with our tomato sauce. All right. I'm going to just ladle some here in the bottom. I did not run this through the blender. Now, the other day when you saw me make the marinara sauce, after making this sauce, I did run the marinara through the blender, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to put this down. A lot of times what I'll use is a measuring cup, and I'll scoop it because it's got a handle, and it just makes it easy to dump and pour, and you can go a lot faster using a cup or even like a 2-cup measuring cup. But I'm going to put a lot of sauce down here in the bottom. I want it to be coated, and this will be the first base layer. And then, I'm telling you this like you've never made one before, so I mean, if you've seen this before, you know what I'm doing. But if you haven't, I always put this down. It allows those noodles not to stick to the bottom, and it really does make a difference. All right, so here's these pasta noodles. They cook for about 14 minutes, it says, and if you're going to bake them in the oven, you're supposed to cook them a little bit less, and so that's what I did. I went about 10 minutes, and I'm going to put 3 of these down on the bottom layer. All right, so I've got 3 pasta sheets down on the bottom here, and now I'm going to put another layer of the sauce. And I like to be generous with the sauce, and I hope you are too. That's actually there's a proverb about that, but I'll skip that for now. The fact is, we like the sauce around here, so I'm going to put this sauce down. Now I don't have oregano in this, it's just basil, so I probably will put some oregano here in just one moment. In fact, let me just stop right here and go get some dried oregano, and I'll spread it across the top to go with that basil flavor. Just 1 second. Okay, so I got some dried oregano leaves from McCormick's, and I have multiple bottles of Italian seasoning and oregano and basil because this is something that I love. I make tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, things like that on a regular basis, marinara. What I usually use is just some tomato paste and then tomato sauce and a little water and seasonings. That way I don't have to have the oils and additives that are in a jarred sauce, and it's really super simple. This one is a little more complex because I use all fresh vegetables. The only thing that wasn't fresh was the basil because I couldn't find it. But anyway, let's move on. All right, so the next layer, I'm going to put down some broccoli, and I'm going to put it down here in the bottom. Across here, a pretty good little piece. I'm just going to sprinkle that on. If you've never had broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, bell peppers, things like that in your marinara, you're missing out. It's really, really good. All right, so I have the broccoli, and now I'm going to put some of the cauliflower. This isn't hot. I let it cool down. I'm going to put some of the cauliflower, mushroom, onion, garlic kind of meat, if you will. I seasoned it like I would if it was Italian sausage or something like that I was going to use to make this lasagna in the past. Hamburger meat, whatever you would have used in the past, I just season it the same way, except this is all Italian flavors. Man, it smells great. It really does. It tastes good too. I like to make this as taco mix, and I do it all the time. Taco meat out of this cauliflower, this rice cauliflower. It's really good. There's one of the viewers to the channel who uses quinoa and makes it quite a bit. And Janelle is doing a really good job, by the way. Shout out to Janelle. All the things she's doing and the recipes she's been making and sharing on Facebook, and also in our Facebook group as well as hers. Just glad to see that success. All right, so let's put down another layer of the pasta sheets, or pasta noodles. They're not really sheets. I used to use sheets a lot. It just saves a lot of time. It's also very thick too. I probably like the regular pasta noodles better. It's just time consuming if you're making a ton of them. This, by the way, these rice noodles are very thick. They are. They're hearty. You can tell. All right, so let's put down another layer of the tomato sauce. And again, I'm going to be generous. Don't mind having this sauce, that's for sure. And I will put down some more of the oregano. And this time, I'm going to use the zucchini. I make a layer here of the zucchini. Let me put a little bit more sauce right there. But before we put down the zucchini, let's put a little bit more of the oregano. Probably looks like I'm shaking a lot, but not much is coming out, so don't think I'm putting a ton in here, because I'm not. All right, and now I'm going to put down the first layer of this mozzarella cheese. I don't know how it's going to work, but let's find out. I'm expecting a big mess. But let's try this. All right. It is firmed up quite a bit, and I'm sure I should have a little bucket or glass or something of water here, because that water will help it not stick to everything on your hands. But let's just put some clumps in here, spread it out, and we'll see how it does. Okay, so I put quite a bit on here. I know it's going to spread out when it cooks. But what I want to do now before I put on the zucchini is I'm going to put on some of the nutritional yeast. I'm just going to use my hand and sprinkle it. And I'm going to use quite a bit. This stuff is awesome. I love it. I know it costs some money, but you know what? It's so much cheaper eating this way than eating meat and dairy and butter and cheese. Oh man, can you imagine? Hamburger meat and steaks, all that stuff is super expensive right now. So this is super cheap to eat vegetables. All right, so let's deal the cards. Lay out the zucchini. Spread it a good even layer here. I probably could have put this zucchini in the bottom, and it would have been good as a layer on the bottom also, but the noodles will work just fine for that. I dropped some on the floor. I don't know why you keep making messes. I invite you into my home and you just throw food on the floor. Another layer of the cauliflower meat. There's not a whole lot left of it. All right, so let's put in our last layer of the pasta, and I'm beginning to tear up some of this. It's my own fault. I left it all in the same pan after draining it, but we'll lay this layer out here. It doesn't have to be pretty. We're trying to eat. We're not trying to develop a masterpiece here. There's only a little bit left, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it across the top. It'll be okay. That'll be a thick layer of pasta though. You know what? I changed my mind. I think I'm going to leave it off and just wait. I don't want it to get thick and hard where it doesn't cook properly. All right, so this is ugly, but I use these broken pieces. There's still a few left, but I'm not going to use them. I was going to just pile them on top, but I changed my mind. So let's put our last layer of the sauce on top, and then we'll coat the top of it with some more of the cheese and the nutritional yeast. All right, so the sauce is spread out. Let's put some more of this mozzarella. I'm going to use the rest of it. So making a double batch of this, as I did in my video, is probably the right thing to do, just so that you have enough if you're going to make a big lasagna like this. All right, so I'm going to spread this out and I'll be right back with you. All right, I had to go wipe my hands off. Like I said before, if you use some cold water with this mozzarella, you can ball it up a whole lot easier. It won't make as big a mess. You can spread it out easier, but that's okay. This is going to work just fine. Like I said, I put most of it in that middle layer anyway. So I'm going to put some nooch, a little bit more oregano, and that's probably going to do it. I'm going to sprinkle some what's left of this broccoli right on top, and that will be just about it. And then I'll have some lasagna. You know what, I'm just going to use this. I was going to save it for a salad. I'm just going to put it right down the edge here. That'll work. Use it, be done with it. Okay, I have a mess. It's all over everywhere. But I'm going to clean that mess up. I'm going to go throw this in the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like in just a little bit. But that's a vegetable lasagna. Pretty simple and easy. You don't have to make your own tomato sauce. You can make a very basic, simple sauce, as I said before, with a can of tomato paste and a can or two, probably two, of tomato sauce. You add the two and mix them up, heat them up, add some seasonings that you like. If you're using dried seasonings, one trick that you can use is boil a little water or run it through your coffee pot and take just a little bit of water and your dry seasonings that you're going to use and put them in there and let them steep like tea. And then when you mix it to your sauce, it'll have a more aromatic flavor and effect to it. It'll add it to the sauce better. But you can do it however you want to. It's simple. It's just layers of pasta, sauce, vegetables of your choice, and just keep doing it over and over. I still have some noodles left, but everything else is gone. So this is a big lasagna. All right, I'm going to put it in the oven, and I'll show you later what it looks like. Okay, we are back. I don't know if it's done on the inside. You know, the broccoli's probably not cooked all the way through. The zucchini might not be cooked all the way through. But it's starting to brown on top. I knew that broccoli on top would become, you know, a little crispy, and that's okay. But I wanted to go ahead and pull it out now and give it a taste, because I don't want to overcook it. I don't want to cook it to the point that everything on the inside is mushy, because if I do that, then when I reheat it, it's just going to be a big ball of mush, and so I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to get a little piece here, but well, you know what, I'll just cut a piece here. Oh yeah, it cut right through. I'll just cut across here, and then I want to get one from somewhere right here in the middle. I don't want to take one from the edge. Okay, I don't need much. I already had supper, so I'm not trying to, oh yeah, I'm not trying to eat. Oh wow. There's some of that cheese. It's gooey. Yeah, it's done. It's done all the way through. Wow. All right. It's steaming. It is hot. The zucchini looks good. It all looks good. That cheese, I thought it would melt and spread out, but it really didn't. I probably should have just spread it out myself and go from there. But I have a feeling that I'm going to prefer making it without the cheese. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a try. Let me just taste some of this. You know what lasagna tastes like, so but let me get some of the broccoli, which is not cooked all the way through, which is perfect. If I can pick up this noodle. Well, it's good. It's real good. That basil flavor is a little strong, because using that dried basil was too much, and it did not add the flavor that I was wanting. But everything else is good. This tastes really good. It's a little spicy. I put a lot of red pepper flakes. I didn't even tell you that. I put a lot of red pepper flakes in the sauce. After I pulled it off the stove and I tasted it, I thought it needed more, and so I added red pepper flakes, and now it's got a little spice to it. It works really good. This is good. I'm not the biggest fan of the cheese, but I kind of thought that might be the case. It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't taste like great that I'm going, oh wow, this is mozzarella cheese. You know, it's just, it's not for me. You may love it, and if you love it, that's great. Like I said before, everybody's a little different, and we might like things spiced differently. For me, I love the spice. You might be somewhere in the world where you have more of a sweet palate, or you might have more of a desire for, you know, like cinnamon rolls and things like that. You know, I can have one once in a while, but you know, I'm not like knocking down walls to go get a cinnamon roll. You know, everybody's a little different. But if I had some type of Latin food, Mexican food, something with some spice and a kick, I'm all for it. I love that. You know, but Italian is another one of my favorites, and this works out really good. I hope you learned something from it. If not, at least you know, maybe you enjoyed it, seeing someone put together a lasagna. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, you can go over to the Facebook group and leave comments, or you know, ask questions, or send me a private message if you desire. I'll be glad to help you any way that I can. This was just something where I thought, you know what, I want to try making a lasagna. I'd already made the marinara, and so I thought this would be a good recipe. The noodles are okay. They certainly are different than traditional white pasta noodles. The cheese is okay. It's not really my thing. But as far as pasta, noodles, and vegetables, I mean, you can't go wrong. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Maybe share your recipe if you have something that you love as far as lasagna goes. And we'll talk about it and try it, and maybe other people in the group will try it. But we appreciate you watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hello. Let me give you a quick update. So the lasagna was fine the first night, but the second day when I tried to reheat it, that pasta was horrible. It was grainy, mushy. Oh, it just was not good. Now, the cheese actually didn't work out very well either. When I tried to reheat it, I stuck it in the microwave to reheat it, and I don't know if it would have been different if I would have stuck it in the oven. But when I put it in the microwave, I cut out a piece and I put it on a plate and I stuck it in the microwave. Those pieces where there were cheese just stayed a big pile of goop, and it was firm and consistent, and it didn't melt, and it didn't spread out. You didn't really cut it with your spoon or fork. It just didn't work. So I've got to figure out something else if I want to use a cheese, a mozzarella, or something to that effect for the lasagna. But the pasta didn't work, and I was hoping that rice pasta would work, but I'll probably just use regular pasta in the future, or like I said, just make the zucchini noodles. But there are several good recipes out there for lasagna, and I'll try one of those others later. But you can always just make the traditional lasagna with, your marinara. You can put down your pasta noodles. You can put in whatever vegetables you like and just layer it and eat it that way. But for some reason, when I tried to reheat it, those noodles just were not good. And I think that's the thing that got me the most. The cheese didn't work, but the worst part about it was those noodles. I just didn't like it. So I just thought I'd give you an update before I end this video. I just finished eating lunch. I had some mashed potatoes with some of the Southwest soup that you're going to see in a video, and I put the two together, used it to mix up, and I had this mashed potatoes with this Southwest flavor with beans and corn. It was great, and I just thought I would just share that as we wrap up here today. So I appreciate you watching this video. I know that sometimes things just don't work the way you want it to, and I would say this was a fail. It didn't work. So it was fine right then. It was not good to reheat. And so I will give it a thumbs down, a big ol' X, whatever you want to say. But those rice noodles were not the ticket, and that cheese didn't stay in like a cheesy form. Now, I don't know, I might have done something wrong. Maybe I didn't cook it enough. Maybe I should have let it cool down and put it in a brine. But you would think, coming out off the stove, as long as I took it and put it on that lasagna and baked it, that it would have been fine. And it just wasn't. Oh well, we live and we learn and we move on. So we'll try something else next time. But anyway, you guys have a great week. Hope all's going well. We only have a few days left till the end of the month. I hope that you're working hard, that you're eating healthy, you're getting some exercise as you have opportunity, and you're getting ready to be the best that you can be each day. Appreciate you watching. My name's Denny. This is My Plant-Based Journey, and lasagna didn't work this time. We'll talk to you next time.